July 2025 challenges us to stay anchored in the present as we experience a push-pull seesaw dynamic between the pull of the past and the draw of the future. During the first half of July, both Saturn and Neptune stationed retrograde in the early degrees of Aries, and they will backtrack, retracing their steps all the way into the late degrees of Pisces, asking us to tie up loose ends and take care of unfinished business along the way. Saturn retrograde invites us to get clarity around what we aspire to build and the responsibility and accountability we need to take in that process, ensuring that we're aligning with authenticity and integrity. We may face obstacles or delays if we try to push through resistance instead of surrendering to trust in the divine, especially once Saturn retrograde returns to Pisces. As we work to tie up those loose ends, it's important that we're acting with integrity, aligning with our values. Midway through the month, on July 10th, we experienced the full buck moon in Capricorn, challenging us to find balance and peace between our career or work aspirations and responsibilities and the needs of our more private emotional lives. This lunation may have illuminated for you the ways in which you overgive or overproduce to earn approval, especially in the workplace, while simultaneously under-nurturing yourself. We've been reflecting on the messages, beliefs, and traditions of our nuclear family, culture, and society at large, especially around emotional intelligence, vulnerability, sensitivity, and regulation. We're reflecting on the foundations we've built and whether they truly sustain us on a deep emotional level. The full moon in Capricorn formed a trine to Mars closing in on the south node of karmic fate and destiny in Virgo, which was a supportive aspect encouraging us to take initiative and to take action as we learn to assert our needs and desires in healthier, more intentional ways. On July 17th, the last quarter moon conjoined with Chiron in Aries served to trigger our deepest fears around perceived abandonment, rejection, self-assertion, independence, and autonomy. These emotions were brought to the surface, allowing us to transmute and heal them. The last quarter moon phase is always challenging because it features the sun in a challenging square aspect, 90-degree angle, to the moon. This phase is characterized by a deep emotional release. Once we release this emotional tension, it creates space for action under the new moon the week after. The last quarter moon, especially when conjoined with Chiron, asteroid of deep soul wounding, can stir up resentment, anger, and negativity. Chiron is the wounded healer, representing our deepest wounds and our capacity for healing, both ourselves and others. Wherever we have Chiron in our astrological birth or natal chart is where we have our deepest wounds, and it's also our ability to heal others. It is through healing our wounds and transmuting that pain that we empower ourselves to help and heal others. In Aries, it highlights wounds related to identity, courage, abandonment, rejection, and self-worth. It can manifest as a need to assert oneself, to take greater initiative, and to break free from perceived limitations. Strong Chiron transits can trigger sudden, brutal exclusion, such as loss of a relationship, loss of a connection, loss of job, being cut off by a loved one, bringing a sense of injustice or unfairness. The second and third weeks of July could have triggered feelings of anger, frustration, or even sorrow as past hurts related to self-esteem and assertiveness were brought to light. However, it also offered a chance to process these emotions, to learn from them, and to develop greater self-awareness, self-compassion, and strength. On July 18th, Mercury stationed retrograde in the heart of Leo, a collective call to reflect on how we express ourselves authentically and unapologetically with the courage of a lion. Because Mercury, planet of communication, travel, trade, and commerce, is involved. It's about how we speak, create, and share our thoughts and feelings with others. It is an opportunity to experiment with alternative forms of self-expression. During Mercury's retrograde through Leo from July 18th through mid-August 2025, we will be offered opportunities to revisit old projects, old job opportunities, old bosses and authority figures, release old, outdated thought patterns and unconscious beliefs that block our flow of inspiration, and to connect with our inner child and creative voice in new, meaningful, playful ways. The sun's ingress into Leo early in the morning on July 22nd, 2025, puts the spotlight of energy for the next month on our desire to self-actualize as we learn to live more authentically, playfully, and joyfully from the heart. Annually, Leo season and the new moon in Leo is an invitation to show up more fully and joyfully in life. Wherever you go, may you bring your own sunshine and always wear your invisible crown. Each late July to August, we are encouraged to cultivate that inner fire as we channel our energy toward our passions in creating something that encourages and uplifts not only ourselves, but those around us. Therefore, the sun's ingress into Leo invites you to step into the spotlight and to be the main character instead of the observer in the story of your life. You are the hero of your story. You do not need to be saved. On Saturday, July 19th, 2025, the exalted moon in Taurus squared off against Mercury retrograde in Leo. A dramatic outburst disrupted the peace. It's retrograde, so maybe something was said or done in the past, or a miscommunication occurred due to being overly amped up or triggered. Then, the exalted moon in Taurus, 18 degrees, trined Mars and the South Node around 18 degrees Virgo, delivering karma on a very personal level. On Sunday, July 20th, 2025, Mars and the South Node aligned 19 degrees Virgo. Things brought up from the past allow us to release them for good. The South Node in Virgo can be about the facts of the past. The facts do not matter. It's great to have a plan, but life does not always go according to plan. Sometimes you lose a job and it frees you up to do the thing that you love. Sometimes we get a scary physical diagnosis and it brings us closer to God. The North Node of Fate and Destiny is in Pisces. That is about staying open, receptive, releasing control, and trusting in a higher power. How do you regroup or pivot when your plans change? Later on Sunday, July 20th, the moon ingressed into Gemini, immediately conjoining Uranus, trining Pluto in Aquarius, and later conjoining Venus. We're feeling emotionally curious. We might receive an explosion of information. We might be biting into the forbidden fruit and unlocking the secrets of the universe. Anticipate a shocking or surprising message that comes out of the blue. Now let's talk about Mars and the South Node in Virgo opposing the North Node in Pisces. The opposition aspect is of the nature of Pluto, exposing a push-pull dynamic. We have Mars and the South Node in Virgo versus the North Node of collective karmic fate and destiny in Pisces. This is when old patterns and habits related to how we assert ourselves and pursue our own desires come into the focus. Opposing the North Node in Pisces is highlighting the potential for release, letting go of outdated, Virgoan, control freak, perfectionistic, and micromanaging tendencies, while also emphasizing the need to balance practicality with intuition and the spiritual need to surrender the illusion of control to faith in a higher power. Mars and Virgo think Goldilocks, It emphasizes practicality, efficiency, attention to detail, and it wants to get the mundane, nitty-gritty details just right. The South Node in Virgo signifies a release of old patterns, particularly those related to overthinking, perfectionism, and excessive analysis, which we in the psychology community call analysis paralysis. Mars conjoined with the South Node fuses their energy and symbolism together, suggesting a critical opportunity to confront and release deeply ingrained patterns and habits. Examine your approach to tasks and goals, and identify areas where you might be holding yourself back or engaging in self-sabotaging behaviors, especially escapist or avoidant ones. Examine your daily routines and wellness practices to see if they are truly serving your best interest and highest potential. Practice greater self-compassion while letting go of harmful self-criticism. Find ways to integrate practical Virgoan skills with the more creative, intuitive Piscean desires. Be mindful of how you assert yourself while ensuring your actions align with integrity and your personal value system. 2 days into Leo season 2025, on July 24th, we experience the new moon in Leo, featuring an alignment between the sun and moon in exact opposition to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, revealing hidden control and power dynamics and exacerbating any underlying tension between our personal desires and societal expectations. We have 6 planetary bodies from 0 to 2 degrees of their sign. 2025 is a year of big endings and new beginnings. Remember, there are no endings, only new beginnings. Those 6 planetary bodies are the Moon, the Sun, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. The new moon in Leo peaks or exacts on Thursday, July 24th, 2025 at 3:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to adjust for your unique location and time on the planet. This means that the Sun, Moon, and Mercury retrograde are all in Leo, answering to an empowered Sun in rulership in Leo. Leo, I shine and I inspire others to step into the spotlight and do the same. Leo is a fixed or set fire sign with a strong sense of courage, pride, confidence, and integrity. There's something you're meant to lead, to create, or to develop, or more fully integrate within yourself. Listen to who or what sets your soul ablaze. Who or what gives you butterflies? It's a new moon, bringing a fiery new beginning, aligning with new desires or passion, creation, and direction. With the opposition to Pluto, it's a great new beginning that comes from destruction. It's activating where we had those 3 Mars-Pluto oppositions during Mars's retrograde through both Cancer and Leo not too long ago, from October 2024 to May 2025. Now we'll have the Sun and Moon, the spotlight of our energy opposing Pluto, with Mercury, now 13 degrees Leo, retracing its steps all the way back to 4 degrees Leo. Mercury, our conscious, aware minds, will be opposing Pluto. So everything we've been working on in the past year is going to come into our awareness under this Mercury retrograde. Who are you now? And how have you elevated since October 2024? Are you allowing yourself to be the new transformed you? Or is something or someone holding you back? It could be pushback, resistance, avoidance, a relationship, a person, or a work environment. We mentioned Mercury retrograde is currently 13 degrees Leo. That's a karmic degree. It's contemplative. It's about shifting your own power, getting caught up on things and projects. There could be a return of past people, especially if they have dominant Leo or Virgo energy. Annually, the Leo new moon spotlights our journey toward authentic self-expression, urging us to share our true, vulnerable, most authentic selves with the world and with the courage of a lion. It begins a lunar month centered around creative self-expression and personal transformation, especially when paired with a Mercury retrograde in Leo. As we mentioned, the Sun and Moon tightly oppose Pluto in Aquarius, highlighting a need to confront fears, wounds, and power dynamics that inhibit our ability to shine fully. We'll be exploring how external influences, peer pressure, fear of rejection, and the need for external validation and approval may cause us to dim our own light. It's a call for courage as we reclaim our individual power and authority, honor our unique individuality, and learn to express ourselves unapologetically, without fear of rejection, even if that means not fitting in anywhere at all. But why fit in when you were born to stand out? Are you a wolf, bravely leading the pack? Or are you a sheep, blindly following the herd? Choose wisely. The Sun and Moon opposite Pluto are squaring off against Hygeia, bringing a great need or urge to purge, cleanse, cut off, change, or end something. Uranus and Venus in Gemini also instills similar energy. This Leo new moon exacts 2 degrees of Leo, falling within the first 10 degrees or first decan of Leo, which is both ruled and sub-ruled by the Sun, putting the Sun in an empowered position in its sign of rulership, solar domicile. The Sun in astronomy is the center of our solar system, providing sustenance for all life on Earth. In astrology, it represents one's core identity, ego, dharma or life path, and overall sense of self. In Leo, the Sun's influence is amplified, and so will themes of heat, fire, and wildfire. When a planetary body rules a sign, it means the sign embodies the planet's core qualities. For Leo, the Sun's energy manifests as warmth, generosity, confidence, and a desire to shine or lead from the heart. When balanced, this energy has the effect of inspiring and uplifting others. Always bring your own sunshine. Leos are often seen as charismatic, natural leaders and passionate people. They're creative, expressive, and wired for the spotlight and leadership roles. But while the Sun in Leo can be a powerful and positive placement, it can also lead to potential challenges. When imbalanced, or with an overemphasis of solar or fire energy, Leos and all fire signs can sometimes be perceived as arrogant, self-centered, attention-seeking, lacking in empathy, or overly dramatic. They might also struggle with needing constant external validation or fearing being overshadowed. The symbol of Leo is the lion, and it's associated with royalty, leadership, strength, and courage. The Sun's rulership over Leo reinforces these themes, highlighting the sign's inherent confidence and desire to lead. Always wear your invisible crown and never let it falter. Remember that royalty does not step down from the throne to address its people. Similarly, do not alter your core vibrational frequency to make anyone else feel more comfortable in their shadow. Do not absorb that energy. It remains their shadow so long as we do not absorb or react to it. Lion spirit animal. When balanced, the lion epitomizes strength and peace. When imbalanced, it can be overly serious or withdrawn. A lion is not lazy, but knows how precious its energy is and wastes no resources. A lion knows exactly when to turn its energy on and when to preserve its energy, saving it for later. The lion is the king of the animal kingdom, representing royalty and the pressures of leadership and the spotlight. With great courage comes great responsibility, as the lion is charged with inspiring and uplifting those around it, much like the sun does for all life on Earth. The lion is the master of the element of fire, which represents the embodiment of integrity, spirituality, something we call God or Christ consciousness. This is why the lion is depicted on the Strength card. Leo's sister sign and perfect opposite. And remember, when there's a surplus of energy, you can always look to a sign's opposite for balance. This would be Aquarius, which is the eagle. No longer requiring external validation, the eagle relies on its own intrinsic motivation. From high up on its perch, it can see all sides and all perspectives clearly, representing the art of stoic detachment from one's emotions and the trappings of the egoic nature. Its pursuits are humanitarian, wired to contribute to its local community and to the greater collective at large. And Pluto in Aquarius for the next 20 years will help all of us tap into this Aquarian energy. Expression of self. Leo is a sign where individuals express their core identity, both internally and externally. The sun's placement here emphasizes the importance of open-hearted, creative self-expression and the desire to be seen and appreciated authentically and vulnerably for who they truly are. Degree theory. 2 degrees is a Taurus degree relating to our finances, resources, and the economy. With Venus in an exact square to Mars and the South Node, anticipate major market volatility. Housing market crash, here we come, and it's more than likely stemming from the insurance market in the wake of extreme weather events while Uranus has been in Taurus the past 7 years. The Sabian symbolism for 2 degrees, 9 arc minutes of Leo, you always want to look at the direction the planets are heading. So they're 2 degrees, 9 arc minutes of Leo. They're heading toward 3 degrees Leo. If it were a retrograde, we would go backwards, we'd round down. But in this case, the sun and moon always move forward, so we're rounding up to 3 degrees Leo. A woman having her hair bobbed, representing the courage to change and a critical decision. People are always free to make choices and changes that liberate themselves from bondage to outdated habits and unprofitable ways of living. The image of a woman having her hair bobbed symbolizes independence, modernized thinking, and a desire to fit into one's immediate social setting and to be a part of what is currently in or trendy. But remember, you were born to set trends, not follow them. The transformation implied in this image is sudden, unexpected, rather than gradual. And the implication here is of a sudden realization that change is necessary. The accent is on self-reflection, the avoidance of crystallization or becoming overly fixed in nature, and a willingness to examine the self and take all of the necessary steps toward personal growth. The desire to belong or to be part of something could create a willingness on your part to make personal sacrifices in order to achieve that goal. So watch for people using this to manipulate you. On the positive, it represents the capacity to pull oneself up by the bootstraps and do whatever it takes to accomplish a task or goal. Opportunity. Your greatest advantage lies in breaking free from self-limiting thoughts and beliefs. Have the courage to do what needs to be done. Risk. Guard against feeling sorry for yourself or resenting those who are doing what you would like to or wish you could be doing. This new moon in Leo completes 6 months from now under the full moon in Leo 2026, which exacts on February 1st, 2026, 5:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 13 degrees, 3 arc minutes of Leo. So where Mercury's retrograding now, and we're planting the seeds under this Leo new moon, we'll be completing or harvesting in February, exactly 13 degrees. Just 19 days prior to Saturn and Neptune finally aligning 0 degrees Aries. The last time Saturn and Neptune aligned 0 degrees Aries, or in this part of the sky near 0 degrees Aries, there were great fires, devastating fires, and political assassinations. Last but not least, I'd like to review the energy of Venus and Uranus in Gemini. So Venus and Uranus are in Gemini, answering to Mercury retrograde in Leo. Uranus, 0 degrees Gemini, is at a critical degree. Venus, 22 degrees Gemini, is at the KILL or BKILLED degree, instilling an all or nothing, make or break energy, especially for Venusian-ruled people, so that would be people with strong Venus influence and energy, your Libras, your Tauruses, especially your Libra and your Taurus risings. And since Venus rules the divine feminine collective, this will be affecting the divine feminine, anyone who identifies as having predominantly feminine energy. Could be sisters, mothers, daughters, girlfriends, wives, etc. If it's not happening to you yourself. This is bringing the divine feminine collective to a critical crisis or breaking point. In Gemini, it brings a strong need or compulsion for change and variety, especially with Uranus and Gemini. The new moon is in a supportive sextile to Uranus in Gemini. Air fuels fire. Electrical currents in the solar plexus are rewiring us on a deep level, creating a deep remembrance of why we're here and a drive to align with our most authentic, highest self, our soul's full potential. And I said it before, Venus in Gemini square Mars and the South Node in Virgo brings extreme market volatility. Thank you for watching. If you're still with me, you're a real one. Drop your current most used emoji in the comments. If you took anything away from this video, we ask that you like, comment, share the content, and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, we know that you'll enjoy the full playlist and this additional video. Thank you so much. Love you, and see you soon.